All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning in to the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about? So what I want to call this podcast is Why Do You Lack Confidence? So if you know anything about me, I have a Mastering Self-Confidence program out there to help men find the woman or women of their dreams, even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce. I also do things with hygiene, fashion, fitness, and try to help men improve in those areas. And I'm not here to pitch that. I'm just giving you a little bit of an idea of who I am and what I do, besides other work as well. And I'm going to get into today something, and this doesn't mean when I say, why do you lack confidence? I mean you personally. I don't know you. So this is for people that really do lack confidence or that are in need of more confidence. And I think sometimes in my podcast, I think people think I'm attacking them or bullying them, which is actually quite the opposite. But if you can handle certain things in your life, I'd hate to say it, this is exactly what I'm talking about, is you should have the confidence in yourself to be able to understand the difference. And for one, not letting people get under your skin necessarily. And that goes for personally and social media wise. And we all get in our beefs or our jams once in a while with different people. We argue our points and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not here to start teaching confidence into the point where you come off overly egotistical or arrogant, or you're the type of person who thinks your opinion is the only opinion that matters. That's not what I'm here to kind of teach. But I will tell you, a lot of people that I do know that have very strong, I guess you could say, confidence levels for the most part. A lot of them are very successful because they believe in themselves. So say what you want, and most of us, I think, even if you look at, for instance, athletes, a lot of them, you can see their confidence level. And I've talked about this before. The one thing you cannot fake in your life, I believe, is becoming a professional athlete, especially at an elite level. Yeah, you're not like, if you want to go in the showbiz, an actor, your family could have got you in. You may be kind of good, bad. You could go do reality television. You could do voiceover work, or even it could be in political arena. You get tied in with other people, family members, again, friends, colleagues, where you grew up. People could kind of slide you around, and that could go for any job. I don't mean to attack politics by any means. I'm saying that could be in a lot of different industries where the father could be a president of a company and his son's the VP and he doesn't belong there, for instance. Or people get jobs all the time they don't deserve, right? You're not going to do that as a professional athlete. That I could assure you. You step out on a field and you're not at their level, you're going to get decimated. The owner's going to be embarrassed and the team will be embarrassed. But back to, if you want to build confidence, I tell people you have to sometimes look at the level of an athlete, or even people, professional musicians, let's say, for instance, again, where you have an eliteness. I grew up with a lot of musicians, and a lot of them were drummers. Some were in the guitar, some play the piano, whatever the case may be. And when my family would get together to jam, you very quickly see who's the strongest of the musicians, who can play the best, who sounds the best. It's kind of quite obvious. It's right in front of you. Another thing you can't hide. A lot of us in life, we're kind of hiding. And I've been in this situation, and I do it as well sometimes even now, to be honest with you, when I'm not, if I'm not super comfortable in my environment, I just sometimes don't want to be bothered. So I won't rise to the top, and I think I do this with work sometimes. I just kind of want to sit back. I also think sometimes I'm exhausted, and kind of having the attitude I have a lot of times, people always expect me to speak up or go against the grain or not be afraid, when sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what these people are talking about, so I need to shut the hell up. And I'm not that comfortable, even though I'm in that environment. And I went through that, I think, with school. I wasn't that good of a student. So I would go to school and just not know what the hell's going on a majority of the time and just kind of skate through. I was more there for the athletic aspect of it and having fun, even if it was recess, all those type of things as even a kid. Lunchtime, it was more social than it was educational. Obviously, I learned a lot of things. It's ridiculous to say I wasn't learning things, I just wasn't, I always felt behind. But then when it came out to, again, playing sports or other things, I felt the opposite. I felt like an animal. I felt just superhuman almost, especially if I hit the streets when I got later in my teens and in my 20s. Quite the opposite. I kind of was bipolar, and in the classroom I would just shut down. And if you asked a question or whatever, of course I'd answer it or whatever. And I was pretty popular in school from that standpoint. But I had two different personalities in school and out of school. And I think a lot of people may have that. It may be reversed too. A lot of people may, excel in school, and then when they hit the streets or when they're not in school, they kind of shut down. And when I say, more comfortable in school, I don't mean they're chattering or talking or acting egotistical or like the shit. I'm just saying they're more comfortable there in that environment. And then when they're in public, they're not. And I see that a lot with guys that I try to help. And back to the athlete or the musician, I'm just using them for examples because I think for the most part, most people love sports. And if you don't love sports, most likely you like music. The one thing I will say being a filmmaker in acting is, a lot of actors, they're decent. But I think the skill of acting, if you can memorize your lines for one, and kind of, you don't have to be amazing at acting to kind of have a career in it. You can be okay. You most likely aren't going to make a living off of it because probably about 1% of actors actually make a living off of acting. People don't even know that. But that doesn't mean you can't get into a lot of different things, including film, television, theater, okay? And that's what I'm using for an example today. So if you want to start building your confidence, one is you're going to have to understand being confident in front of strangers is something you're going to have to master, because we're all, for the most part, to a certain degree, comfortable around people we know. That doesn't mean you're confident around them. That just means you're comfortable. But for you to really, I think, start excelling, and it could be with women, it could be in the workplace or whatever, you've got to become comfortable around strangers. That goes for talking to them, listening to them, and having the confidence a lot of times to be the one to kind of be the one to pursue them, if especially you want to do something with them, or get some information from them, or help them, whatever the case may be. You have to have that confidence if you want to start taking things to the next level. I think a lot of people that I see that lack self-confidence is they want to be saved. And I don't mean to throw religion into this, but I think a lot of people, they want to be saved, right? And I get it when we all grew up, or I grew up, I shouldn't say we all. When I grew up, it was a very Christian type orientated household with my mother. And it was all about, Jesus is going to save us, or Christianity saves us from our sins. All these different types of things. I'm not going to get into religion, which is great if you think that. But I think as we get older sometimes, we think something is going to save us, or someone is going to take us to the next level. And most likely, I'm going to tell you, that may not happen. It may happen, and of course, you may have bosses or people that help you in the workplace, or even in your family or whatever, that are going to help you take you to better places than maybe you are in now. But you have to have the confidence that if that doesn't happen, to do it yourself. Whatever you want in your life, if you're waiting for someone to give it to you, you're fucked. I'm going to tell you most likely right now. You want something, you have to learn how to get it. Life is about really getting what you want, a lot of times. Now, you may be like, no, I don't want anything. I just want to have a good family. Well, there you go. You want something. I just want to take care of my kids. Well, there you go. You want something. They pretend they don't want things. The truth is, you need things just to survive. If not, you're dead, right? You need to eat every day. Someone has to feed you, or you have to feed yourself, right? Financially, someone has to give you money to feed you. If it's work, your family, whatever the case may be, you have to eat every day. You have to most likely live somewhere. Now, even if you live on the streets and you're homeless, you still, unless you kill yourself or unless you just sit there and die, you still have to figure out the streets. And a lot of times, and I'm not going to say I know a lot of homeless people, but I do know some. I did know some, actually, more than I know now. And some of them were even family members of mine. And they died, a couple of them, on the streets. And what I found quite interesting is they had the confidence to live on the streets. Do you know how hard it is to live on the streets compared to, say, if you live in a household where you have family members or friends or even colleagues taking care of you, or you have a place to go to, somewhere warm every night, or even a bed? I don't care if you're on a couch, right? If you think about being homeless, now I know a lot of mental illness. I'm not going to get into homeless. I don't know enough about that. But what I do know and what I've seen is a lot of them, at least the ones I knew, a lot of them like drugs. And they were drug addicts, basically. And it was amazing that they can hit the streets, beg for money, steal, rob, work on and off, coming in and out of households, whatever. They had the confidence to be around some of the toughest, shadiest people in the world. But then it seemed like, and I get that's an addiction, but even when then they would clean up, let's say, then they had an issue, I think, having the confidence to be in a normal society or working for someone or just doing something day in and day out. Now, again, I'm not sure if that's a mental illness. But my point is sometimes in our life, in our surroundings, we all have confidence, I believe. You just have to figure out, where are you going to excel and where are you going to build up that confidence. And I'm not saying, obviously go homeless. My point being was, I should backpedal a little bit here, not even backpedal, but just explain what I meant is, it just blew me away that I had friends and family members that had confidence on the streets, but didn't have confidence to do something else that I thought was so much easier than what they were going through. But in their mind, homeless was actually easier for them, not the other way around, which I looked at homeless and said, this is a brutal, miserable life, at least from my perspective. So that's what I was trying to say to that. But back to my point is, a lot of people, you may look at a job and say, well, how does that person do that? They have a ton of confidence to pull that off or get to that level. You know what? I assume they do have confidence to do that. But you'd be shocked at what you can do as well. And I talk about this all the time. If you find things you love to do or you're comfortable around. And the first phases, I believe, of confidence is just starting slow, like everything else I talk about. I call myself the sloth. But I think what happens with a lot of people is they want to all of a sudden decide, hey, I'm confident. I can do anything today. I'm going to say this and do that. And then they go out into the world and then they get, they fall into shambles because everyone's like, who the hell are you? Then they get made fun of or they get shot down or blah, blah, blah. And then they get disintegrated emotionally and then they're rocked. And most people a lot of people, I should say, can't handle that. I always say, if people say no to you, you got to say next. But, and that goes for dating too. I meet guys all the time. They're like, hey, I'm trying to meet women. I'm going to start asking girls. I'm going to ask every girl. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm like, listen, just start learning how to be friends with girls. Start slow. Learn how to walk before you run. Chill out. Just be around women. I don't care what it is. No one's saying you got to hang out with them 24 hours a day. Go in environments where women are there, listen to them, talk to them. The first thing that you really need to do to build confidence, I believe, is be in the environment. Even if you go back to a professional athlete, it wasn't like they go from, grade school Pop Warner football to the NFL. They start playing catch as a kid with their parents or friends or whatever the case may be. Then they get a little bit more in organized sports. Before you know it, they got a better coach. Before you know it, they're on a better team. Before you know it, they're on a travel team. Before you know it, you may be in high school or collegiate. And then all of a sudden you're in the pros, right? That did not happen overnight. Okay, you have to look at your life the same way when building confidence. Take your time, whatever it is. Sure, if you look at a lot of people, especially if you're younger, and you're like, holy shit, how did they get there? You're looking at it from the standpoint is they got there so quickly. And they can even be your age, or they could be 5 years older than you, 10 years older than you. I remember growing up in a nightclub, and my cousins, and my dad owned the club from basically when I was 2 years old up until I was, 14, 15. So my cousins would come visit me, and all of them are basically about 10 years older than me on my father's side, for the most part. Not all of them. A few are just a few years older, I should say, but a majority of them are 10 to 15 to 20 even years older. So one time we had a family gathering, and then they all came to my dad's bar, he had a restaurant as well, so they were there early. They were running around a bar like a lunatic. I've talked about this before, sticking their head under the draft beers, quickly wanting to taste alcohol, because most of them, I was probably 10. A lot of them, I was probably more like 8 or 9. I should say a lot of them were 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-ish, whatever the case would be. The older ones were cool, but the ones that were like in high school still, or, starting college, whatever, they lost their mind in there. And I was looking at them like they were acting like, what are you guys doing? Why would you even behave like this? And they're like, oh my God, this is so cool. I've never been in a bar like this. And, look, there's a drop. Like, that has nothing, the confidence level of me being comfortable in that environment is what I'm saying. And I can tell, they weren't really, it was just almost a brand new experience for them. And the thing I was trying to make here, I hope I don't confuse anyone, but my point being is I was very comfortable and confident in a bar nightclub. Even when I graduated high school, I started to go to nightclubs alone. I guess I look back at it now, my father kind of programming me being raised in a nightclub, and then me liking the music in a nightclub, liking the women and the lifestyle. For the most part, that's what I gravitated towards too. I even had to get a fake ID. I think I was 16 before anybody else, because I would help my father, actually, who was in a vending business. And when I would walk in bars, even at 16, to help him, I'd get away with it because I would just walk into the bar. I had the confidence to be in a bar, especially if it was a gentleman's club or anywhere else. I never got questioned. I never even usually would pull out my ID, even though I was too small, because there was a comfortableness there, and there was also a confidence level. And that didn't start overnight. And I remember even taking my friends out that I would meet that got fake IDs at, 18, 19, 20. They were always bombed, always acted like an asshole in the club, hitting on women, dancing, falling all over the place. Let me get some water here. And, it was interesting. A lot of them had no confidence during, we'd first go to a club. They wouldn't talk to a girl or anything. You get a few drinks in them, hang on to your bootstraps, then everything's, off the rails. And so my point being, again, regarding confidence is just start slow and become comfortable at whatever you really want to succeed. And that doesn't mean jumping in the pool with no water in it head first. If you're going to jump into that pool, go feet first. And just kind of calm down, and hopefully there's water in there to save you a little bit. And I goof around and do these talks regarding that. I used to say I jump into a pool head first, there's no water into it. And sometimes I would be overly confident to think I could accomplish certain things at a certain amount of time, and it was just unrealistic. And that's what I'm going to wrap this up with, is a lot of people don't realize to build confidence or to accomplish a lot of things takes a lot of time. It doesn't take days, weeks, months even. It takes years. It could even take decades to a certain degree. And when I say decades, I mean just succeeding at a very high level. Train your brain to be very elite at certain things. It takes a lot of studying. It takes a lot of knowledge, right? And I don't think a lot of people understand that, especially younger people now. They think things come very quickly to them. And they may have confidence, but just because you have confidence doesn't mean that it's going to always kind of supersede or get you to exactly where you need to be. What you really need is knowledge along with that confidence. So hopefully you understand what I mean by that, and that's why I want to wrap it up there, because I don't care how confident you are in anything you do. If you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you're going to lose, and people aren't going to want to be around you, or you're just not going to succeed. So you could go to a nightclub and act like a jagoff, for instance, and hit on 100 women. Maybe odds are 1 or 2 will talk to you. But once they get wind of who you are and how you behave, and you just don't know what you're doing, or you don't know what you're talking about, you are going to be out, most likely. So make sure what you're doing, you're doing right. And I always say, don't think outside the box, smash it. Create your own way. Just have the confidence to do that. But also have the confidence to understand that you don't a lot of times know what you're doing, or you don't know what you're talking about, and try to learn from that. And you are going to get knocked down. I don't care who you are. If you're not getting knocked down all the time, that just means you're not out there experimenting or trying things. And I just went through that with a fitness video or a gym video. regarding working out is if you keep going to the gym and failing at not being able to lift a certain weight, as long as it's not too nuts, and you're not always making the times you want to make if you're running or if you're, whatever you're doing physically, if you can't achieve that, you keep getting close, and you keep pushing yourself, that is a good thing. If you're doing things that you immediately or very easily can succeed at, how far are you pushing yourself? You're really not, right? It kind of reminds me of with women a lot, or guys, I tell guys, you like who likes you. A lot of times men have a specific type or they want to be with a specific woman. They just don't have the confidence to go after it. They'll just go with whoever likes them. And that's very similar, I think, to life a lot of times too. If you want to excel in certain things, have the confidence to do that. And understand that if you want to push yourself to places you've never been to, you're going to most likely fail at trying to go after that. Back to the athlete, you're always losing. People only talk about the winners, right? You're going to lose games, right? You're going to probably go through injuries. If you took an athlete's life starting from when he probably played when he was younger all the way up to the top, they did not go undefeated their entire life. They most likely lost. And if they were younger, if they played against older kids, the older kids would beat them, and then they would want to, compete against them. Or older people, they were getting beat down. I know you have people like Rocky Marciano who went undefeated fighting, but I could assure you him probably growing up, he fought a lot of people to make him that tough. So, but the most part, everybody's going to fail. Failing is what's going to make you who you are. I'm going to wrap it up there. If you'd like, check out some of my YouTube channel. I've been putting a lot of stuff on there regarding fitness. I'm going to get back to confidence stuff as well. And I'm also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you're on my podcast. So, yeah. Please, if you'd like to leave a comment, you agree, disagree, you may even want to check out my Mastering Self-Confidence program. It's masteringselfconfidence.com or richchalenza.com. And I really want to help people more than anything. And I know for the most part, most people are going to, listen to me and not do a thing about it. But if you could just take one thing from me, I would. That's great. Anything you want to take. I mean, I'm not here to. The one thing I think when people listen to me, I sometimes think that they think I'm not talking down to them, but kind of coming off as a know-it-all. And I can assure you, I am the furthest thing from a know-it-all. I kind of can relate to anyone who knows what it is to kind of be an outsider and at the same time somebody who is kind of, I guess you could say, very popular. I kind of have two sides to me. I talk about it all the time. I'm almost extremely introverted and then extroverted. I can never find the middle for me. So if you're one of the others, that's who I'm going to relate to more, even though these podcasts, sometimes I come off more extroverted maybe, or, somebody on that level, but I'm not. I'm actually by myself 90% of the time, and I travel all over the country, and I know what it is to feel alone and at times feel like things aren't going your way, or what did I do with my life, or I don't have enough money, or, I miss my kids, my girlfriend, what am I doing, why am I here, why didn't it work out this way? I think we all as humans have those thoughts, and so don't think you're alone out there. All right, that's all I'm trying to say. All right, take care, and if you're traveling, safe travels.